My name is Alexis Killinger, and this is my language literacy acquisition synthesis. The whole point of this is helping children to become better writers. The first part of this is balanced literacy. In balanced literacy, there's interactive writing. This is the writing process used to teach students how to write. The process involves the sharing of the writing responsibilities between both teacher and student. Teacher will write some, followed by the students trying out their own writing. This can be done in one-on-one settings all the way to whole group instruction. Basically, the teacher and the students share the pen. Next, we have shared writing. Shared writing is similar to interactive writing, but the difference is that in this method, the teacher acts as the sole scribe while the students contribute the ideas or words for the teacher to write. The difference in these teaching writing methods is just who holds the pen during writing. Next, we have independent writing. During independent writing, students produce their own original writing pieces, pulling on their knowledge of writing skills shown during guided practice and teacher modeling. This is a time for students to work on developing their writing on their own without the influence or guidance from the instructor. The next component is the writing workshop model. The first part of this model is the mini lesson and introduction. Teachers will begin the writer's workshop with a skill-based mini lesson. These mini lessons are determined by the student's needs or a specific skill set that you want your students to be able to exemplify in their own writing. For example, if the students are nearing the end of their writing process, give a mini lesson on publishing so that the students will know how to finalize their pieces as they approach that step in the end. Mini lessons or skill introductions can be introduced in a variety of ways, such as mentor text, anchor charts, shared writing, and more. The beginning of the writer's workshop helps give a preview to students about what skills are expected to be shown in their own writing. This leads to writing time. Since the writer's workshop follows the pattern I do, we do, you do, what comes next is writing time for the students. Students take what they have learned in their mini lessons and apply it to their individual writing pieces. The students get to choose what they work on during this time, and it's for their own original work. During this time, the teacher can choose to conference with students or model independent writing themselves. This leads to share time. This is the final stage in the writer's workshop model. This stage is arguably the most important step for the students. Kids want and need to share and receive feedback and praise for all of their hard work. This can be done in either small groups, pairs, or whole group settings. For example, some classrooms have a shared chair where students can get in front of their peers and their teacher and share out some of their writing. This is super important to building children's self-image as a writer and to build confidence in their writing skills. Next, we have the writing process. The first stage in this is rehearsing or pre-writing. Rehearsing and pre-writing is the first step of the writing process, and the beginning of the writing process is generating ideas to write about. The brainstorming can be clustering, mapping, listing, timelines, or responses to literature. Students should be allowed the freedom to do whatever feels right or comfortable for them in order to generate ideas for their writing. For example, if a student wants to draw out all of their brainstorming ideas, they should be allowed to do that if it will help them get their ideas from their head onto the paper. This leads to drafting. In the drafting step, students begin to actually put their words onto paper. Students should write whatever comes to mind, be encouraged not to erase their work, and take chances on their writing. In this step, conventions and revisions should not even be thought of. The main focus is getting their writing down onto paper. After we have writing in the drafting stage, we go to revising. In revising, the student is starting to change their writing that they put down during the drafting stage. This entails deleting what you don't need, adding what you do need, reorganizing what may be confusing, rewording sentences and phrases, or strengthening the piece overall. Next, we have editing. This is where the students will make changes to grammar, usage, punctuation, and spelling. Where this differs from revising is that editing focuses on the nitpicky little things about language and technicalities rather than content. You scan your language for accuracy throughout the writing. For example, in revising, you would add more to a sentence to make it more specific and add more detail to a piece, but in editing, you would go back and correct misspelled words or grammar throughout the sentence. This leads to sharing. Students in this step will share with others and give positive and specific responses to peers' writing. This is where they share their writing one last time before they publish their writing. And finally, we have publishing. This is the final stage that wraps up the writing process. Legibility, neatness, artwork, and penmanship play a big factor here. The more authentic opportunities that the students have to publish their work, the more motivated that the students will be to develop and refine their ideas. Publishing encourages feelings of success and accomplishment within your students. Publishing, for example, should be whatever the student feels comfortable presenting their work in. This could be through technology such as StoryJumper, or for example, I have a student that I'm working with right now that is simply choosing to color his own illustrations and have the text typed up for a story underneath. He made his own cover page and he signed his name at the bottom of the page. Finally, we have the 6 traits of writing. The first trait is ideas. This is where the writer will elaborate effectively on a single topic to convey a clear message to the readers. Ideas are the content of a piece of writing. It helps the writer and the reader remain focused on one single idea. Ideas help students become more specific in their writing and not general. Next, we have organization. This is when the student aligns their ideas in a logical order, including have a beginning to a middle to an end in the writing piece. It helps hold the information together and helps the reader follow a logical flow in the writing. Next, we have voice. This is when the writer becomes an intentional writer by adding feeling, attitude, or emotion to their writing piece. The writer's personality really shows through the voice trait, and it becomes obvious the writer is engaged with the topic and adds individuality to the writing. Next, we have word choice. When this is utilized, the right word is placed into the right place in the writing to convey just the right meaning. Students will intentionally place words in writing in a way that meaningfully adds to the writing overall. Word choice gives clarity, evokes feelings, moods, and creates a vivid picture in the reader's head. Next, we have sentence fluency. This improves the readability of a piece and makes sure that the writing has complete thoughts and sentence variety. It is the rhythm or flow of the piece. And finally, we have conventions. In this last trait, conventions are all a part of the editing process. This involves spelling, indentations, punctuation, grammar, capitalization, and paragraphing. When conventions are used correctly, readers can easily follow the text and gain meaning from what they are reading. When used in combination, all of these help to become children to become better writers.